Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the session number 3 of the first day of the IConMEAS 2020. I'm Dr. Hassan Al-Ftir from the Biomedical Engineering Department at Al-Makhadani University, Iraq. I will be chairing this session which will be run for the next 3 hours. In this session, we will have 10 speakers. 10 talks. Every speaker will have about 10 minutes to give his presentation for this conference. And after that, there will be about 5 minutes of Q&A. So good luck for everyone. Our first presentation will be Dr. Abdul Hassan Jabbar from Al-Hussein Teaching Hospital. Apparently, he is not available in the meet. Maybe he had some technical problem. Then we will have the second speaker in our list of today, Dr. Abdul Yasin from University of Samarra. Dr. Rasha, I hope you are ready to give your presentation.
Yes.
Okay. So, Dr. Abdul Yasin from University of Samarra will talk about evaluation of fungal pollution in the laboratories of the Department of Biology in the College of Education, University of Samarra, Iraq. Dr. Rasha, 10 minutes of your presentation. Thank you.
Evaluation of fungal pollution in the laboratories of the Department of Biology in the College of Education, University of Samarra, Iraq. Rasha Abdul Yasin, Department of Biology, College of Education, University of Samarra, Iraq. Abstract. The current study including isolating undiagnosed fungi present in the indoor air of the laboratories building on the of the Department of Biology College of Education at the University of Samarra. It included the Passage Entrance Kitchen, Free Education Research Laboratory, Studies and Environment Laboratory, Parasites Laboratory, Animal and Plant Laboratory, and Molecular Laboratory. 162 fungal isolated in including 25 species and 15 genera, and penicillium showed the highest percentage of occurrence of the culture media PDA and SDA for enters laboratories research parasite animal and molecular with a rate of 100% as the fungus cladosporium recorded an incidence of 100% of for research laboratories, parasites, animal, and molecular, compared to with other isolated fungi such as Alternaria, Fusarium, and Aspergillus. Yes, this is evidence of air pollution with pathogenic fungi, which have an important role in allergies and asthma. Introduction. Air pollution is one of the problems of the ecosystem, resulting from the presence of unsolid or gases, materials, or microorganisms that lead to physiological, economic, and biological damage to humans, animals, and plants. Air pollution with living organisms and wastes leads to an annual economic loss of about $5,000 million. Many types of bacteria and fungi spread in the air in the durant state and infect humans of the environment condition are available. Among the genera of bacteria, Streptococcus, Mycobacterium, and fungi, Candida albicans, Aspergillus, that spread in the air as mentioned. It is known that the quality of outdoor air greatly affects the health of man and the ecosystem. Of the global level has been observed to increase air pollution during the past decades. The aim of the study to know the fungi in the laboratories of the Department of Biology, College of Education, University of Samara, which is one of the first steps in the process of scanning fungal allergens. Materials and methods. Isolate fungi. The dishes containing SDA, BDA media added to chlorophenicol were exposed at the rate of 250 milligram per 1 liter by opening the dishes to the air inside the laboratories for a period of 5 minutes. Then the plates were given temperature of 25 Celsius and for a period of 7 days, after which the fungi growing in the plates were diagnosed based on the outward appearance of the colony, such as the color and the shape of the colony, as well as on the microscopic characteristics such as the shape, size, and the composition of the stands and the spores according to the approved taxonomic principles on the classification case. Results and discussion. Fungal isolated 162 were isolated from the air of the laboratories of the Department of Biology, Science in the Faculty of Education, University of Samara, as the study including 25 species belonging to 50 genera. 15 genera as shown in Table 1 and 2. The results showed the prevalence of the fungus penicillium over the media SDA BDA as it recorded the highest percentage of occurrence of 100% of the media of the SDA or PDA as it recorded the highest percentage of occurrence of 100 on the media on the laboratories, research studies, and molecular, while the lowest percentage of Penicillium fungus was in the environmental and plant laboratory and on the SDA and BDA agriculture. The fungus on BDA and SDA as alternate recorded the highest incidence of the animal laboratory. It reached 83% of the SDA media. The results also showed the emergence of fungi Cladosporium bipolaris by 100% of 4 laboratories, the passage research, parasites, and transcription-free environment studies, plant, animal, and molecular. While Aspergillus niger recorded the highest percentage of in the research laboratory of on the BDA media, it reached 100%, followed by the molecular laboratory with 83% on the SDA media, while the percentage of Aspergillus flavus was 75% on the SDA media. For the laboratory studies and the fungus recorded the lowest percentage on the animal laboratory. Table 1, the percentage of fungi isolated from the air of the biology department laboratories building on PDA media. Table 2, the percentage of fungi isolated from the air of biology department laboratory building on SDA media. The difference in the emergence of these fungi are due to human activities such as talking, coughing, and sneezing due to the presence of the largest possible number of airborne fungi with microbes. It is worth noting that the appearance of these fungi in different samples may be due to different environmental factors such as temperature, humidity, dust, and wind speed, as the air fungi spread in the form of spores and pieces of fungi that can enter the buildings through the outside or during heating, ventilation, the air conditioning system, in addition to human activities as mentioned earlier, and the type of culture media. It is very clear today that most of the fungi present in indoor air come to these sites mainly through external air, which is an important source of biological contamination for indoor air. The presence of organic materials such as plants, animal, and human presence can contribute greatly to the presence of fungi spores in the indoor air as well. Playing buildings materials such as wood, cellulose, wallpaper, adhesives, and pines which contain nutrients such as carbohydrates and proteins that serve the fungal growth. Thank you for your listening.
Thank you, Dr. Washa, for keeping it at time and for the impressive presentation. Any question for Dr. Washa about her presentation, please? Oh, then no question. Thank you very much, Dr. Washa.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck. Now we will have our next presenter for today, Dr. Abdullah Hassan Jabbar from
Yes,
Al Hussein Teaching Hospital.
yes, I hear.
Yeah, Dr. Jabbar will give us a presentation about assessment of anticholinesterase effect of polyphenol pyrrolidine silver nanocomposite biosynthesized by Pandanus atocarpus extract. Dr. Jabbar, you will have 10 minutes. Go ahead, please.
Okay, just let me my presentation. I don't know whether you will see my presentation or not now.
No, it's here. It's not shown yet. There's a present now. If you can see that icon on the lower right. Present now. There's an arrow icon. Present now.
Yeah.
You can press it to share your presentation with us.
I can't see. I see only your photo and some other participant.
If you can see the screen now, there is like an icon on the right, on the lower right side. Present now. Okay. Did you recognize that? Like an arrow, an arrow icon. Present now.
Could you share your screen again?
Where is it? I can't, sorry. I'm trying, but I can't. I don't know what happened. Doctor, do you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Yeah, but I'm trying to present my PowerPoint, but I can't. How?
Can you see that icon? The present now.
Which one?
In the lower right, there's an icon in the screen. Present now.
Present now. No, I can't see.
I can't see your screen at the moment.
Wait, I will let our technical support contact with you to manage your presentation, and I will take the next speaker for now. Is that okay for you?
It's okay. It's okay. I'm waiting.
Okay. Then we will have Dr. Ahmed Abdul Jabbar Mahmoud.
Yes.
He's here, doctor. He's
Here.
from Department of Pharmaceutical Chemistry, College of Pharmacy, University of Mosul. Welcome, Dr. Ahmed. You will have 10 minutes to talk about your presentation, design, synthesis on anti-Beta-Lactamase activity for new monobactam compounds. Dr. Ahmed,
Yes,
we are listening to you.
yes, yes. First, I want to thank the IConMEAS co-chairman, Dr. Omar, and also the session chairman, Dr. Hassan Ali, and also Mr. Hussam Namir. I want to welcome all the audience and say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you.
Welcome, welcome. Our presentation. Just a minute. The whole point is clear for you? Are the presentation clear for you?
Not yet. Um, oh, you closed now. Why?
I just restarted.
Oh, okay. It's okay.
Now?
Yes, it's okay now. Yes, it's okay. Yeah, go ahead. Okay.
Now, our work title Design, Synthesis, and Anti-Beta-Lactamase Activity for New Monobactam Compounds. As an introduction, antibiotics, particularly the beta-lactam classes, are the cornerstone of modern medicine. They are the most effective antibiotics for the treatment of the infectious diseases. Of the several manifestations of beta-lactamase bacterial resistance currently known, the production of the beta-lactamase is the most important, which is the deactivate beta-lactam antibiotics by breaking down the beta-lactam ring. The prevalent beta-lactamase is the Pneumonia TM1 of the class A from gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria. There's an urgent need to discover and develop new antibiotic or beta-lactamase inhibitors to handle this situation. The use of beta-lactamase inhibitors, example, glavulanic acid, in combination with the beta-lactams reduces this resistance. Monocyclic beta-lactamase, such as azithromycin, are more stable to hydrolysis by beta-lactamases compared to other beta-lactams, so that focusing and concentration on such monobactams compound could give us an excellent chance to find new beta-lactamase inhibitors. The aim of this study is involve the design, docs, computer calculation, and synthesis of a series for monobactams compounds, then studying their biological and beta-lactamase inhibitors activities. First, we're talking about the material and methods. The docking study. The conjugate docking study was carried out using the online platform Micule by the Autodoc Vena logarithm. The docking study of the investigated compound on penicillin binding protein was conducted to test their antimicrobial activities, while the docking study of the investigated compound on the beta-lactamases TM1 was conducted to investigate the affinity toward this enzyme to be compared with the reference beta-lactamases inhibitors. Now about the chemical study. This is the general scheme for the synthesis. First, we have the amine will react with the aldehyde forming the ship bases. On the other hand, we have carboxylic acid react with the thionyl chloride forming the acyl chloride. Then the acyl chloride with the ship base react together, forming the monobactams. Now about the procedure. General procedure for the preparation of the ship base derivatives, A1 to A9. The benzaldehyde derivatives were dissolved by heating in absolute ethanol before mixing with the oxidizole compound, which was also dissolved by heating in absolute ethanol. Then the mixture was reflexed with stirring. Now the general procedure for preparation of the acid chloride derivatives, A10 and 11. The carboxylic acid were dissolved in thionyl chloride. The mixture was reflexed for 30 minutes in the hood. Then the excess of the thionyl chloride was distilled. After cooling, the yielded products were taken and used freshly in the next step. Finally, about the chemical synthesis, here's the general procedure for the preparation for the monobactam derivatives A12 to A20. The corresponding acid chloride in the dichloroethane was added to the mixture of corresponding ship base with the pyridine in the dichloroethane, also at 0 degrees centigrade. The resulting mixture was refluxed. After cooling, the solution was washed twice with water, sodium bicarb, and finally with the Brin solution. Now, about the antimicrobial study, the detection of beta-lactamases in the bacterial isolate. The detection of beta-lactamases in the bacterial isolate was conducted for gram-positive Staph aureus and 3 gram-negative, which are E. coli, Klebsiella, and Pseudomonas aeruginosa, pathogenic bacterial isolate using acidometric method. A yellow color within 5 minutes indicated beta-lactamases activity. Determination of the minimum habitual concentration, the MIC. Broth microdilution method was used to evaluate the MIC. A serial of 10 doubling dilution of the synthesized compounds and the standard antibacterial, which are the amoxiclav, amoxicillin, cefotaxime, ceftriaxone, and ciprofloxacin, was prepared in test tubes with the final concentration starting from 2000 microgram per ml. Then 1 ml of the Muller-Hinton agar was added. Bacterial isolate were diluted and added to the test tubes. The test tubes incubated at 37 degrees centigrade for 18 hours. Lastly, determination of the anti-beta-lactamase activities. The anti-beta-lactamase activity was evaluated by the measuring the zones of inhibition in the disk diffusion method. Each tested compound was used as a co-inhibitor with 1,000 or 2,000 microgram of amoxicillin prepared as discs, 5 microliter per disc, at the concentration equal or below their MIC. After incubation at 37 degrees centigrade for 24 hours, zones of microbial growth produced around the tested substances were measured and recorded as the diameters of inhibitions. Now about the results and discussions. First, the molecular docking study results. The docking for both clavulanic acid and sulbactam were carried out on both penicillin binding protein and beta-lactamase TM1. The results are -6.1 and -5.1 for clavulanic acid, and for sulbactam are -6.6 and -6.2 respectively for both enzymes. Whereas the docking for the monobactam derivatives and the chemical structure of the designated substitutions are listed in table 1, and the result of the docking are listed in table 2. The general chemical structure of the monobactam compound is the oxidizole moiety linked to the monobactam ring. The Z and R group will be changed. This is the chemical structure for the designated substitution. We have 14 R group and 8 Z group will be changed separately. This table for the result of the docking. We notice that all the docking result for all the designated compound more than clavulanic acid and sulbactam. Also, we choose -10.5 and lower. We choose 9 compound to be synthesized and tested. This is the picture for 3-dimension and 2-dimension structure within the enzyme pocket for the docking poses. Now we will talk about the chemical results. Preparation for ship-based derivatives. In general, for compound A1 to A10 to A9, which is the ship base, the disappearance of the amine NH2 at 3,343 of the oxidizole moiety, and also the appearance of the C double bond N amine at 1,590 to 1,610, which indicate the formation of the ship base. This is a table for the results for the ship base. This is the compound name, structure, which is indicated by the R group, melting point, yield, color, and time for the end of reaction, the RA value, and the functional group bands, which is appears in the IR chart. Now the preparation for the monobactam compounds A12 to A20, the physical properties and the most characteristic peaks of the FTIR spectrum for the monobactam compound. Here's the table indicating the compound name, the structure, which is R plus Z group, melting point, the yield, color, time, and array value, and also the functional group band within the IR chart. The IR results indicate the formation of the monobactam ring as the carbonyl group appears at 1669. Also, the appearance of the COC at the 228 to 1236, and the aromatic CCl at 1087 to 1094 for the Z3 acid chloride compounds. The proton NMR and carbon 13 MR charts also indicate the formation of the four-membered monobactam rings. This is an example for the proton NMR chart for the selected compound, and this is the carbon 13 chart for also selected compound. Now about the antimicrobial results. Determination of the MIC compound, the MIC for the synthesized compound. After the detection of beta-lactamase in the bacterial isolates, a broad microdilution method was used to evaluate the MIC. Here we notice that the amoxicillin have a lowest sensitivity, followed by amoxiclav, cefotaxime, ceftriaxone have a good sensitivity. The best sensitive compound was the ciprofloxacin. The rest are our compound, our synthesized compound. We noticed that only two compounds, which is A13 and A14, have a sensitive resemble to amoxicillin and more than it. Now about the determination of anti-beta-lactamase activity. Firstly, amoxicillin and amoxiclav were incubated with the bacterial isolate by using three concentration, 3000, 2000, and 1000. The result will be considered as a control for the results for the incubation of the synthesized compound. This is the result for amoxicillin and amoxiclav. We noticed that amoxicillin show antibacterial activity against Staph aureus only, while amoxiclav, on the other hand, show the same amoxicillin activity against Staph aureus, but also show activity against the gram-negative bacterial strain related to the clavulanic acid. Depending on the above result, amoxicillin was used in two concentrations in the next step, 1000 for gram-positive bacteria and 2000 for gram-negative bacteria. This is the table represent the result for the combination of our compound with the amoxicillin. We noticed that in general, the result indicated that all the synthesized compound had no activity as anti-beta-lactamase against Staph aureus, Klebsiella pneumoniae, and Pseudomonas aeruginosa, and the only beta-lactamase inhibitory effect for our compound was appeared against E. coli species. This observation may be related to use of the E. coli enzyme model in the docking study, which may be structurally differs from those in the other bacterial strain used, or even they were from different family. Concerning the anti-beta-lactamase activity against E. coli bacteria, three compounds, which are A12, A15, and A20, show strong anti-beta-lactamase activity resembling or more than that of clavulanic acid, as shown in the table. It is worth noting, although all of them have no antibacterial activity, they have high MIC. It is worth noting that all these compounds have one or more hydrophobic residue in its structure. This is coming through the docking result, which indicate that the selectivity of the beta-lactamase enzyme increases as the compound become more hydrophobic. As a conclusion, we can conclude that the beta-lactamase TM1 active pocket prefer hydrophobic substituents. The selectivity for the beta-lactamase enzyme increases as the compound become more hydrophobic. The chlorine or the chloride group will increase the antibacterial activity of the synthesized compound. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Mahmoud, for the impressive presentation and the important findings.
Thank you.
I hope you the best in future research. So, any question for Dr. Mahmoud about his research or presentation, please? Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Mahmoud.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Now we'll return back to our first speaker, Dr. Abdullah Hassan Jabbar.
Yes.
I hope everything is fine now and the technical problem was fixed.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
are you ready now to give us your presentation?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, Dr. Jabbar will give us a 10 minutes presentation about assessment of anticholine steroids effect of polyphenol pyridine silver nanocomposite biosynthesized by Pandanus atocarpus
Sure.
extract.
Okay.
Go ahead, Dr. Jabbar.
Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Abdullah Hassan Jabbar, PhD student from UTHM, Malaysia. And at the same time, my current job, Al Hussein Teaching Hospital, Asimawa, Iraq. My research were focusing on the assessment of anticolon straight effect, which is one part of biological activities that will be prepared by polymer, which kind of PVP silver nanocomposite.
Sorry, Dr. Jabbar.
Yes,
Can you share the presentation, please? We can't see it yet.
I give share. I don't know what happened. Why now is share?
You can go to the PowerPoint.
Now it's
icon.
sharing. Yes, okay.
Yeah, it's done now. Yeah, go ahead,
Okay.
please.
Okay. And here, as I say, the assessment of anticolon steroid effect with the nanocomposite material, which is a polymer with silver biosynthesis by Bandunus atocarpus extract. Now it's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Our abstract here, actually, we will prepare a silver nanoparticle from the plant, which is Bandunus atocarpus. It's a famous plant in Malaysia and in Iraq also, with the polymer PVP. Here we will investigate our nanocomposite because of silver nanoparticle with polymer. It will be nanocomposite. We will investigate all this concentrations which we prepared in this work, 5 concentrations from 100 to 500 micro. Here we will investigate with FESAM and ATM, FTIR, XRD, and UVVs. All this investigation, after that we will see the application, which is biological applications. Here we will talk about the anticolon steroids, means Alzheimer's disease. And the outline of this work is still start from nanoparticles, means the nano materials, and which type of materials, why we use the nanomaterials, why we use the silver, small size shapes and applications in medical or biological applications. Research by a polymer is a chemical compound, a molecule bounded together in long repeating chains. Here means talk about the polymer. If we need kind of polymers, PVP, special chemical and physical properties. In addition, it has low toxicity, biocompatible, and for silver has unique properties of conductivity, stability, and activity. It can attach molecular. It will be as a drug delivery. It can attach and detach of moleculars. Then the aims of this work to synthesize silver nanoparticle by green method, or called biological method, which we use the Bandonos tricarbos to extract to get a silver nanoparticle to synthesis of nanocomposite with the PVB with the polymer to with different concentrations, as I told, from 100 to 500 concentrations. To characterize make investigation with, we will use the techniques here, UVVs, FTIR, FESM, AFM, and XRT. After investigation, we will do our work. Also, we investigate that work with the FTIR. We will see the investigation biological activities, cytotoxicity first, sharp, and anti-enzymatic activity, which is anticholinesterase. It's called anti-enzymatic anticholinesterase. That is with Alzheimer's disease. Here, the preparation, the methodology of the work. First, blunt, objective blunt Bandonos tricarbos synthesis Ag nanoparticles from the plant, and polymer with the plant will be nanocomposite. We will get the extraction, we will get the concentrations different. Also, we will see the objective tube, the UVVs, FTIRs, and the AFM for biological activities. There are a lot of activities we can do, but I focus on the anticholinesterase. It means anti-enzymatic activity. And sometimes we use in kidney stone also for same investigation or same characterization here. First step was synthesized by using Bandonos tricarbos. Second step, we mixed with PVB synthesis for nanocomposite. And we investigate that work for Raman spectroscope also. The third step, test for their biological activities, which is anticholinesterase. Anticholinesterase, BVB. Here we'll go to the result and discussion for UVVs. The analysis shown here, the figure here showed the analysis for concentrations from 300 to 700 for 30 minutes to 3 hours. Here we use 5 concentration for each concentration. The difference is 3 minutes. Showed the time increase when the intensity of the absorbance also increased. And about FTIR, 5 concentrations. Here we see the difference between from one, because here the intensity also it's shown a difference between the concentration to other concentrations from 1 to 500. For FESM analysis, we got a lot of the dimension here, because the particles also difference, because we test 5 concentrations of that work. It's called nanocomposite, of course, not nanoparticle or not polymer. Here we test the nanocomposite. From nanocomposites we get from 100 to 500 micro. For each one we get a different particle. The particle from this nanocomposite reached to 16, and one of them it was 500, reached to 9 nanometers. And for XRD shown, the peaks is different between here. One of the left side, it's called nanoparticles first from the silver nanoparticle. On the right side is the picture showing the XRD spectrometer with the from different concentration with nanocomposite material. Here we see the difference between what is the nanoparticle and the nanocomposite. How is the difference between what is the intensity will be that touch and detach, allow touch and detach to particles. For AFM also we see the reference of the surface with the nanoparticle, of course, and nanocomposite. Here the reference allow to make the particle for that enzyme will be touched on the surface. Here we actually we created new surface area, and that's because of the nanocomposite. whether cannot be make attachment and detachment for that particles. Here, our test in anti-enzymatic activities, it is anti-construct figure on table showing the percentage of inhibitory activity of Pandanus atricarbus, which is the PAE. Pandanus atricarbus with AG is silver nanoparticles, and the PVB with it is here we focus on the nanocomposite. The PAE plant, AG, and nanocomposite, and galantamine. The galantamine, as here shown in figure, it is our control. We tested their anticolonstrate activities from 1 to 500 microliter. Actually, our control here galantamine. So then we test one by one, means one concentration by other, to reach to 500 microliter for anticolonstrate. Here they see we will actually here we focus on the which one will be more concentrate that it will be give it a good result. Here when that's from this we get it from 500, it will be because of the galantamine here our control near to be means we can get a good result, or we already got the good result for 500. We can use maybe in future we can use in the vivo. So here I work in vitro, so because of that polymer with nanocomposite maybe cannot use inside the body. So in future we can use in vivo. We'll use the mouse or we'll use some of the animal first. And our conclusion here, the nanoparticles synthesis successfully by green, and nanoparticle polymer also, the detailed characterization for FECM UVV is good, give us a good result for that nanoparticle and the nanocomposite also, which is was 19 nanometer. For biological activities, as I said, we have a lot of biological activities from my thesis. I did the 3 activities, which is kidney stone, anticolonstrate, antioxidant. So here I'm focusing on the anticolonstrate. That nanocomposite give us good attachment and detachment with the good significance of that anticolonstrate. Finally, from Pandanus atricarbus with polymer, simple, easy, and friendly used to prepare and to get the biological activities, which is anticolonstrate, anti-Alzheimer. Here are references which is used in that paper. And finally, I have to say thank you very much thanks a lot for that conference. Inshallah, will be very successfully and impressive. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Jabbar, for the impressive presentation and the important findings. I hope the best in your PhD.
Thanks a
I have
lot.
a question. I have a simple question for you, please. Did you think about using the gold instead of the silver in your research?
Okay.
You are looking for a very good conductor, a very good material with strong conductivity. So,
Okay.
do you think about using the gold? The gold is the best known conductor in nature, as we know, and besides that, it provides more biocompatibility, more biocompatible properties. We are talking about using such particles, such nanoparticles, in living tissue, as you present.
Okay.
So,
And okay,
what about gold?
there's a lot of papers I have been reading the gold with the biological activities, but sometimes the gold it's not like silver. I have to prepare with as you know, doctor, I have to prepare a silver with extracts. So I use this extract because it's common and easy to prepare silver nanoparticles from green surfaces, and also have same properties such as stability, activities, and the silver has unique properties.
Yeah, but this is with the gold. Anyway, there could be a balance between such type of properties. Thank you for your answer.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Dr. Jabbar?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank
Dr.
you very
Jabbar?
much to see you. Hopefully, thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. You're welcome. Okay, now we will have speaker number 4 for today's session, Dr. Suhad Ahmed from University of Al-Qadisiyah. Suhad Abdul Amir Abdul Taha. Dr. Suhad, are you here? Dr. Suhad? As you are here, this meet, but I don't know you why you can't speak. Dr. Suhad, you have to unmute your microphone. Dr. Suhad? Apparently she left the meet. Okay, then okay.
Yes, doctor.
Oh, you're here.
Yes, I'm Saad Abdul Amir.
Okay, great. So are you ready for your presentation now?
Yes.
So can you share your presentation first? Dr. Suhad Abdul Amir from University of Al-Qadisiyah. She will give us a 10-minute presentation about microplastic effect on the physico-chemical parameters and interaction with spirulina, platelets, microalgae in Al-Dalmaj marsh in Iraq.
Yes.
Ready when you are, Dr. Suhad. We are waiting for your presentation.
Yes, it's clear for you now.
Yeah, it's clear. Go ahead, please.
My presentation is microplastics effect on the physicochemical parameters and interaction with spirulina platensis microalgae in Al-Dalmaj marsh, Iraq. Al-Dalmaj marsh is considered one of the important brackish water body in Iraq, as it has huge fish wealth in addition to the possibility of an investment in the place for tourism due to the presence of many archaeological and historical sites nearby the Al-Dalmaj marsh, such as the ancient city of Nippur that demand to monitor the water quality of Al-Dalmaj marsh and assure to be clean and pollution-free all the time. The contents, this is the contents of my presentation: introduction, then objects, material and measuring, results and discussion, then conclusion. Presently, the aquatic environment contamination by microplastic become more apparent. Also, there is a lack of suitable plastic waste recycling system, and dramatically increase of plastic consumption. Pay more attention to the interaction between microplastic and biota. Objective of the presentation of our work: scan the main types of microplastics found in the sites of study at Dalmaj marsh, measure our physicochemical property change of marsh water, explain the effect of microplastics type on growth, chlorophyll content, and the interaction between 4 types of microplastics: polyethylene, polystyrene white and blue, polyvinyl chloride, and spirulina platensis. to measure and study the exopolymer excreted by microalgae. Here we can see the two figures. This is the map of the the Delmage marsh, and there this is the collecting of sample using the planktonic net. Isolation of microplastics is done by a procedure, and we can see the microplastics we isolated from the water, sampling water, and the size of this microplastics. Here we can also see the FTIR compared with the library FTIR when we found the polyethylene and polystyrene, white and blue, and polyvinyl chloride powder. The size range between 200 to 500 nanometer, micrometer, and of different shapes were selected, as it is found mainly in the site of the study at Delmage Marsh, and broadcast from this. This is a procedure for the done of FTIR. Here we culturing the microalgae spirulina, which is blue-green algae, and we use the rock culture for this culturing, and with this pH and temperature and light intensity. And then we use optical density for testing the growth and total chlorophyll change by the different 4 types of microplastics at different concentration using the following procedure. And we use the ultraviolet visible spectrophotometer for this procedure, and use this equation to find the content of chlorophyll in this microalgae. The exopolymer also, we excreted it from the spirulina, using spirulina platin cells as a result of interaction with microplastics, measuring by modified also method. Initially, the cell collection was done by centrifugation, and this is also the procedure for this, for excreted the exopolymer substance. Findings and discussion. Parameter we use here, Delmage Marsh, water quality, microplastics presence in Delmage Marsh, microplastic size, color, and shape in Delmage Marsh, microalgae growth variation, chlorophyll variation, extracellular polymeric substance variation. At Delmage Marsh water quality, we put it in this table we take it from October 2090 and October 2020. We found the difference is very clear in the water average temperature, pH of water body, dissolved oxygen, and conductivity of water. And we can see clearly the disaster which happened for the fish in the Delmage Marsh in September 2020 because of the pollution or high pollution in this water. Microplastic presence in Delmage Marsh, the average percent contamination in the 8 samples collected using the planktonic net, about 2.6% for Delmage Marsh. Microplastic items in the 8 sites was changed from one size to another, and microplastic particles were found non-degradable even by the hydrogen peroxide. The highest contamination by microplastics is found in the sites 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, more than of size microplastics found in size 3 and 4 and 5. And here this is the table show the contamination of microplastics in the 8 sites. Microplastic size and color and shape which found in Delmage Marsh, or also we talk about it. This microalgae affected by the concentration of microplastics. Here, when the concentration of microplastic was 25 milligram per liter, and here which is the concentration of microplastics is 250 milligram per liter. And we can see the effects of microalgae growth in this high concentration. Chlorophyll variation also affected by this concentration of microplastics, and the content of chlorophyll in spirulina increased the first time, then decreased with the time depending on microplastic concentration. The control also, in the compared with control, we can see the difference between them is very clearly. Here we see this in this picture, the spirulina, which is around the microplastics, is very clear when it try to bioremediation for this microplastics. And this is microplastic in culture with microalgae culture with the microplastics in the culture. Conclusion. The physicochemical properties of Delmage marsh water, temperature, pH, conductivity, and distal oxygen were changed from October 2019 to October 2020 due to the decrease in the water level. The accumulation of microplastics in the Delmage marsh in November 2020 showed an increase by 1.5 times compared to the record concentration in November 2019. Microplastic in food chain is accumulation in a Delmage marsh, and that is starting for the microorganisms and reach to the human body, especially through the fish, and causes human health risk. FTIR spectroscopy characterization for the microplastic collected from the water sample showed that the most abundant microplastic type in the Delmage marsh was polyethylene. The production of exopolymer from spirulina platensis Ftir and adsorption of microplastics and producing heteroaggregate, which can be used as bioremediation process for the microplastics in the Delmage marsh. Polyvinyl chloride showed the higher effect on the growth and the chlorophyll content in the spirulina platensis compared to the other microplastics type. Recommendation. 1. The chemical structure of microplastics type may have a special effect on the metabolism of each microalgae gene and should be studied carefully in this regard. The production of exopolymers still need to be investigated to explain the efficiency of each microalgae species depend on what factor that enhance the efficiency and choosing the suitable microalgae species used for bioremediation. It is recommended to study the metabolic change that may happen due to the microplastic structure that lead to the change in the chlorophyll content. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Dr. Suhad, for the impressive presentation and the significant findings that's related with one of the wonderful landmarks in our country, Iraq, Delmage marsh. So, any questions for Dr. Suhad about her presentation, please?
Yes, Doctor. Yes, Doctor.
I think no questions for you, Dr. Suhad. Thank you very much for being here today. All the best in your future.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now our next speaker will be Dr. Mahmoud Al-Makhadani from Department of Chemical Engineering, College of Engineering, University of Baghdad. Dr. Mahmoud, good afternoon.
Yeah. Yes, I am hearing.
Ready to give us your presentation?
Yes, just I would like to present it.
Okay, Dr. Mahmoud will give us a 10 minutes presentation about the optimal utilization of lighting factor and the flat photobioreactor for biological applications. Dr. Mahmoud, go ahead, please.
Thank you very much. Title of my research is the optimal utilization of the lighting factor in the flat photo bioreactor for biological application. Up to now, the fossil fuel remaining the main source for meeting global energy requirement, deposit all the environmental and economic crisis. Depletion of this source is sufficient to create economic and social problems that may stop the current acceleration of the development. Yes, there is many alternatives to fossil fuels such as solar energy, wind energy, geothermal energy, wave energy, hydroelectric energy, and others. However, these sources have not reached the required level of production to promising alternative to fossil fuel. In fact, low productivity with high cost presented the most important challenges. Actually, previous studies have sought to overcome these problems by adopting a group of alternative bioenergy sources, such as biofuel production from the plant or biofuel production from the microalgae. The last microalgae has about 50% of the dry weight of microalgae is lipid, which can be converted to biofuel. From the ecology aspects, the microalgae have ability to consume the carbon dioxide during the photosynthesis process, as well as generation of oxygen via breaking the water molecules bound. However, this source still suffers from several challenges, especially the cost of cultivation. For more clear, the productivity of energy from microalgae to be at the same level as that produced from fossil fuel can be achieved by addressing the cost of cultivation process. Redesign the photoreactor or use waste as nutrients are examples of this series attempt for achieving the desired goal. The current study addresses the light factor as one of the main requirements in the photosynthesis process. The light or sunlight is necessary to convert the carbon dioxide into glucose. In the thermodynamic respects, this reaction is with positive keeps free energy. Thus, it is required to external power to convert unspontaneous reaction to spontaneous reaction. This energy is a derivative from the light wave to be stored later as ATP. The current study is serious to reduce the cultivation cost, and the hypothesis of the current research stated that the variables that affected the lighting distribution in reactor is a step in the reduction the cultivation cost, and it is an important factor in the design of bioreactor. In my experimental setup, the present study was distilled water was used as solution to avoid any external effect on the measurement value. Each bioreactor was placed in the dark chamber. This dark chamber was designed and structured to prevent any effect on external light on the measurement light intensity. This chamber contains a tubular lighting source mounting vertically on according to the base chamber. Each reactor was placed according to specific distance from the light, I mean the value of the T. Then the light intensity was recorded by using Loxmeter device. The lighting sentence points from the other sides of the reactor was determined according to initial value of the accelerator. The experimental design was consist of the two variables: central composed rotatable design, which was used as experimental modeling for investigation the distribution of light source in the flat bioreactor. Different bioreactor size and different position away from the main light source were adopted as independent variables in these models. And this is one of the 32 equation which we created by using CCRD. The result and discussion, this figure display the 3D response of light intensity in the flat bioreactor with the cross-section about 30 millimeters breadth and a different of the distance from the light source. The data show a marked variation in the values of the light intensity in all parts of the bioreactor. And at different distance, I mean the value, the 10, 40, 70, 100, 130, 160 millimeter from the source. The highest intensity of the light was recorded at the center. It is compared with that recorded at the edge regions with the same level in the reactor. This figure shows that the depth vector has more effect on the measured light intensity value than reactor length factors. With a more larger cross section, mean Z equal 60 and Z equal 90 millimeters. Actually, there is no characterized significant difference if we compare with the 30 millimeters cross section area. Before the light penetration inside the reactor, the distribution of the light was observed in the current investigation. Resistance material absorbed or reflected the light was not found enough to change the expected response. However, the light intensity value are subjected to change depending on the place of the photosensor from the light source as explained in the experimental results. Physically, the traveling of light through the cross-section of reactor is exposed to the absorbed process by the liquid particle. It was clear, however, that the distribution behavior and general uniform did not change except their numerical value as can be seen between the input and output the light from the reactor. But it is this dependent on the distance between the main light source and the reactor, as can be seen in this figures. Conversely, when comparing the distribution with the more cross-section, it shows that the radical difference between the input and output light at the same point as well as the general distribution. However, the position from the light source, the structure of the light, and the type of light play an important role in the determined natural of the light distribution in the photobioreactor. Also, it can be noted that the amount of the light it decreases with the increase the cross section. of the reactor due to increase in the path length of the lying inside the reactor. In addition, it should not ignore that the presence of the algae or microalgae in the homogeneous manner contributes to absorb the intensity of the lighting and reducing the its exit from the other side of the reactor. The continuous cell growth factor contribute to change the intensity of the lighting over the time. Conclusion, the central composed rotatable design models through 32 equations give a clear visualize of the effect these variables on the ability to distribute the light on the facing surface of the reactor. And the analysis of the data processing summarized that the reactor size, location of the main light source may determine the nature of the light distribution by part of reactor or bioreactor. And finally, the study concludes that this factor in the reactor design stage in order to achieve homogeneous distribution of the lighting with the cost effective. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Dr. Khaz'al, for the informative presentation. So, any question for Dr. Khaz'al about his presentation, please? Then no question. Thank you very much for being here, Dr. Khaz'al. Wish you the best in your future research.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
So,
you. Thank you.
the next speaker is Dr. Isra Talib Hamidi. I think she left the Google Meet. Yeah, she's apparently not here. Our meet. Then we will transfer to the next speaker, Dr. Wahab Karim. Wahab Amu Karim.
I'm available. Available,
Okay,
doctor.
Dr. Wahab. Okay.
I am available.
So,
Okay.
okay. Are you ready to give us your presentation, please? Then Dr. Wahab Karim from Digital University College, the Dentistry Department, will give us a 10-minute presentation about the effect of nano-titanium oxide particle incorporation on characteristic of denture-based material. Ready when you are, Dr. Wahab.
Is everything okay? Did my presentation is obvious now on the screen, please?
Try to share it, please, with us.
I tried.
Present now. There's an icon on the lower right side of the screen.
On the present now.
Present now. It's called present now.
Yes. Yes.
Did you recognize it, please?
Yes. Is this okay?
No, not yet.
I no. It give me another Windows.
Yeah,
Dr.
try to share it. Yeah. Go to the window.
Your entire screen, a window.
Yes.
Okay.
Press the arrow. You will have
now
the panel of the screens. You have it.
Now it's okay now?
Yes, it's okay now. Yes. Yeah, go ahead, please.
My dear audience and my dear organizing committee, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I would like to present my research, our research entitled The Effect of Nano Titanium Oxide Particle Incorporation on Characteristic of Denture-Based Material. Polymethyl methacrylate material is widely used in dentistry due to many desirable properties like stability in the oral environment, simple manipulation and handling, in addition to its low cost. However, some of its undesirable properties, such as brittle nature and liability of a fracture due to cyclic loading, which necessitate continuous effort to conducted to overcome these problems. Nowadays, the incorporation of nanoparticles mostly used, such as zinc oxide, titanium dioxide, can enhance many optical and mechanical properties because of a fine dimension of the particles, high surface area of the particles, and the robust interfacial communication with the polymer organic particles. The aim of the research was to assess the impact of addition of inorganic titanium dioxide nanofillers to heat-cured denture-based material. Our material and method. 3% by weight of pre-salinized titanium dioxide nanoparticles were loaded to the acrylic monomer and mixed by ultrasonication using a sonication device with a probe for 3 minutes. 80 samples were constructed and divided into two groups, 40 samples without incorporation, which is the control group, and 40 samples with pre-salinized titanium dioxide nanoparticles, which is experimental group. Then each group was further sub-distributed into 4 sets or 4 subgroups based on the conducted test. The conducted mechanical and physical tests comprise tensile strength. The first one is tensile strength. The samples had a dumbbell shaped with dimensions according to American Standardization for Testing and Material number D3039. The tensile strength measured by using the Incitron machine, while the porosity test was accomplished as stated in American Standardization number D6583. A disc-like samples were soaked in a liquid of black long-lasting ink for 30 minutes. Then, an area of 1 square centimeter was delineated at the center of each sample and detected with ordinary light microscope, and the number of pores filled with ink were calculated. Third test is color stability test. By using spectrophotometer device, a color stability test was done in accordance with American Standardization number D5229. While wettability tests have been conducted according to American Standardization Testing for Test and Materials number 5725 by calculating the advanced contacting angles of droplet of water falling down above the surface of the samples by means of dynolight microscope. Results and discussion. As presented in the following tables, the t-test parameters of color stability and porosity revealed no significant differences between the control and experimental groups, while a highly significant increase in tensile strength may be due to the extended strong interfacial adhesion as the functionalized nanoparticles would bend to the polymer matrix and improving the mechanical characteristic of acrylic resin denture-based material. In addition to highly significant increase of wettability may be due to the fact that titanium dioxide decreases the surface tension of the droplet of water. As a conclusion of our work, the incorporation of titanium dioxide nanoparticles into acrylic denture-based material would enhance the tensile strength and wettability with no effect on the porosity and color stability of polymethyl methacrylate denture-based material. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Wahab, for the significant findings. Any questions for Dr. Wahab, please? No question then. Thank you very much for being here, Dr. Wahab.
Thank you. Thank you.
All the best in the future. Okay, now we will have Dr. Isra Talib Hamidi. Dr. Isra, you have been there in a minute and you disappeared. Anyway, speaker number 9, Dr. Sana Qasid Hassan. Not here. Then our speaker for the next 10 minutes, Dr. Pondala Sitaram. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am available.
Great. Are you ready to give us your presentation, please?
Hello?
So, are you ready to give us your presentation?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Dr. Sitaram, from the Department of Chemistry, London Institute of Engineering and Technology, from Andhra Pradesh, India. He will give us a presentation about potentiometric studies on bioactive material species on ternary complexes in SLS water mixtures. Go ahead, Dr. Ra, please.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good evening. Good evening to all. My name is Dr. Pandal Sitaram, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemistry, Delhi Institute of Engineering and Technology, Vijayanagaram. Now, I am going to present a research topic on potentiometric studies on bioactive material species of ternary complexes in SLS water mixture. What is chemical speciation? Depending upon chemical environment, an element can exist in different forms, which are called chemical species. This speciation indicates the identification of these chemical species of an element. This speciation also determines the behavior of trace elements in system and in the human organism. Speciation has a great effect on bioavailability, distribution, and toxicity. In my study, I have investigated the stability constants of the ternary complexes of calcium, zinc, magnesium in SLS water mixtures with glycyl glycine as primary ligand and histamine as a secondary ligand. That means I have taken the metals for the study: calcium, magnesium, zinc. Ligands. The ligands means which are having carboxyl groups and also amino groups, amine groups. That means that's why I will take the ligands. I took the ligands, glycyl glycine and histamine. The medium is sodium lauryl sulfate. Sodium lauryl sulfate means this is one of the surfactant. Surfactant means it is anionic surfactant. In these surfactants, I have added calcium, magnesium, zinc metals, and also added ligands like glycyl glycine and histamine. During this titration, pH metric titration, I have identified how the species are distribution, how the metals forming a complexes with glycyl glycine and histamine. What is the biological importance of calcium? Calcium is a soft gray alkaline earth metal. In the human body, it is in the form of calcium phosphate. It has great importance on blood coagulation, and also the deficiency of calcium causes weakness of bones in child and also causes osteoporosis in adults. Next one is magnesium. Magnesium is having also some biological importance. Magnesium required for the proper growth of bones and also muscles. Magnesium ions also acted as activators for phosphate group transfer. In plants also, we are having magnesium is playing a important role. That means chlorophyll molecules. Most of the plants containing chlorophyll molecules. These chlorophyll molecules are containing magnesium-centered porphyrins. This magnesium deficiency of magnesium leads to the neuromuscular dysfunction. The next metal ion is zinc. Zinc also essential metal ions. It is playing a important role in stabilizing the structure, and also it is also helpful to the increasing the immunity of the humans and also DNA synthesis. The available sources of zinc is that means red meat, poultry, beans, nuts, seafood, and whole grains. The next is the importance of glycyl glycine. That means glycyl glycine is a dipeptide. It is a residue of two glycine molecules. This glycyl glycine has a three functional groups. One is immuno carboxylic acid. It is also useful in the buffer as a biological system, and also lysis the protein of E. coli. Histamine. Next ligand is histamine. Histamine is a biological amine. It is also considered as a principal mediator of many pathological processes, regulating several essential events in allergies and autoimmune diseases. Histamine is also released as a neurotransmitter. The biological activity of the histamine is depending upon the existence of intramolecular hydrogen bond between the protonated amino group and the pyridine nitrogen of the imidazole ring. Histamine also exhibiting two important basic functionalities such as primary aliphatic amine and imidazole. Most histamine in the body is generated by the granules in mast cells and in white blood cells. Experimental procedures and data processing. In this study, I have prepared some solutions. That means 0.05 molar solutions, aqueous solution of glycine and histamine, and also 0.1 molar aqueous solution of calcium, magnesium, zinc, 0.2 molar hydrochloric acid, 0.4 molar sodium hydroxide, 2.0 molar sodium chloride. Next one is the main aim of the study of the determination of stability constants of ternary complexes. That's why I have calculated using two stages. That means first one is experimental and second one is calculation. For experimental part, I have chosen pH meter for the calculation of the stability constants. This pH, this is the Metallero titrando. The accuracy of the pH is 0.001. That means this is the pH metric titration. In this pH metric titrations, I have determined correction factor, protonation constants, and also binary constants. That means we are taking one beaker. First, we have to add mineral acid. That means HCl. This HCl is titrated against with alkali. That means NaOH. For coming to the ternary stability constants, in that beaker I have added mineral acid and the respective metal ions and also two ligands. These two ligands titrated against with alkali. The next one is experimental conditions. Using these are the conditions I have maintained that. That means ionic strength is 0.16, temperature I have maintained 303 Kelvin degree centigrade, and also surfactant. The surfactant variation is 0.0 to 2.5%. Calculation of stability constants. Calculation of stability constants using non-linear least square method. I have calculated based on the literature data. Non-linear least square method is using the suitable method for the calculation of the stability constants. Determination of using this equation, I have calculated the stability constants. That means in this non-linear least square method for the calculation of stability constants, I have used MiniQuad 75 software program is used for the stability of the constants. Next one is these are the different ligand possibilities are obtained. That means first the complexes. These are the, we are having so many possibilities. That means from these possibilities, based on the pH metric data, I have done refinement using the different pHs and also correction factor, R factor, U character, pH range. All these parameters I have used to refine the metal ligand species. In this metal ligand species, so many possibilities are obtained, but I have taken the possibilities, 3 possibilities only, which are having low standard deviation and also low correction R factor. Those species are MLX-H2, ML2-XH2, MLX2-H3. These are the 3 possibility species are obtained in the present study. The next one is the effect of Ferrous in influencing parameters on the stability constants of ternary complexes. That means I have varied the concentration of alkali, acid, glycine, histamine, and methyl. Among these, alkali and acid is highly influencing the stability constants of the methyl. The next one is the equilibrium of ternary complexes. Using this equation, I have calculated the ternary stability constants. That means extra stability constants. The next one is, this is the showing the ligands of log K, log XY. Delta log K is nothing but disproportional constants. Based on the log K values, ternary complexes compared to the binary complexes, ternary complexes are having extra stability constants. The next one is the effect variation of stability constant ternary complexes with more fraction of SLS. That means I have taken the titration for the variation of sodium lauryl sulfate is in between 0.0 to 2.5%. In each percentage, we are having different stability constants. These variation of stability constants is mainly depending upon the electrostatic forces of the solution. Electrostatic forces are the more dominating the species. The next one is distribution diagrams. That means in which pH range, which metal ligand species are more predominant. When we observe the diagram, the decreasing at the low pH value, MLX-H2 species are more dominant species. After when we are adding the alkali, what happened? The pH values also increases. Then once the pH values are increased, MLX2H3 is the major dominant species up to the pH value is 6. After increasing the pH, the concentration of the solution, the pH of the solution also increases. That means ML2XH2 species are more dominant species. The next one is, what are the possibilities of species? These are the proposed structure based on the stability constants. Based on the literature review, we have proposed some structures. In these structures, what happened? The amino group of the histamine, the carboxyl group of the glycyl glycine, both are attracted together and forming a complexes with metal ions. That means MLXH2, ML2XH2 and MLX2H3. The next one, what is the conclusion of this study? In this study, the ternary metal complex species detected MLXH2, ML2XH2 and MLX2H3 for with the respective metal ions like calcium, magnesium, zinc, where L is the glycyl glycine and X is the histamine. These species are refined due to the restricted pH range and the possible active forms of ligands like LH2+, LH and XH2+, XH+ for glycyl glycine and histamine respectively. The extra stability of ternary complexes over binary complexes can be understood with the help of delta log K values. The values of statistical parameters reveal the additions of the model. The linear variation in the stability of the ternary complexes is increasing the mole fraction of the surfactant is due to the domination of electrostatic forces over equilibrium forces. Errors in alkali and acid impacts more on the stability constants of the ternary complexes than other parameters like correction factor, ligand, and concentration and metal concentration. Acknowledgement. I express my special thanks to Dr. Omar and the conference chairman in IConMEAS 2020 and managing guest editor of Materials Today Proceedings for giving the opportunity. I am grateful to reviewers for their valuable suggestion to improve my research work. I also express thanks to the authority of Lendi Institute of Engineering and Technology for providing the research facilities. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ram, for your informative presentation. I wish you all the best in future. So,
thank you, sir.
Any questions for presenter, please? Okay, then. Thank you very much for being here, sir. Then our last presenter for today's session is Dr. Isra Talib Hamidi. Dr. Isra, are you there? Dr. Ram, can you stop sharing your presentation, please? Thank you very much, sir. Dr. Isra? Dr. Isra?
Yes, doctor.
Okay, you're here. Can you please share your presentation with us, please?
Yes.
Then our last presentation for this session. Okay, it's quiet now. Our last presentation will be by Dr. Isra Talib Hamidi. She will give us 10-minute presentation entitled Determination of tetracycline hydrochloride in pure and pharmaceutical samples via oxidative coupling reaction. Dr. Isra, ready when you are. Go ahead, please.
Yes,
Dr. Isra, I think you have to remove or put your mobile apart from your computer. But that makes a noisy echo when you unmute your microphone.
Your presentation now is muted, so you need to remove the mute icon.
Dr. Isra?
Please, your voice now is muted. You need to unmute your presentation.
Dr. Isra?
yes.
Go ahead, please.
Dr. Hussam, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but there is a noisy echo. I think you have your mobile near the laptop.
Mute mobile.
So you need to mute the mobile, please, and talk from the computer to make your presentation clear as possible for everyone here. I think you fix it now.
العفو دكتور اكو مشكلة problem in the sound.
are you presenting from your laptop or from your mobile, please?
Laptop.
Then you have to mute the mobile,
Yes.
because if both microphones are unmuted, we will have a noisy echo.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Okay. Did you get that?
Yes, Doctor. Dr. Tucker with us. Yes, Doctor.
No. Dr. Iswa, are you here?
Al-Makhadani, Dr. Yunus, sharing his presentation.
لا أنا مو ميوت.
Doctor, I will have a problem in my computer. I presentation for mobile.
It's okay.
Yes.
Just go ahead, please.
Okay. Yes, research title of determination of tetracycline hydrochloride in pure and pharmaceutical samples by oxidative coupling reaction preparation by Talib Ahmedi. I am University of Tikrit, College of Engineering. Introduction. Tetracycline hydrochloride are antibiotics for many types of bacteria, gram-positive, gram-negative, and anaerobic bacteria. The general structural formula for tetracycline is as follows in the scheme. Due to the importance of tetracycline hydrochloride in the medical field and in the pharmaceutical industry, therefore, a simple and sensitive spectrophotometric method was used to determine the trace amount of tetracycline hydrochloride in this study by using oxidative coupling reaction. Aim of the research. The aim of the research is to study a simple and sensitive spectrophotometric method for determining tetracycline hydrochloride by studying the optimal conditions for the chemical and physical variables that affect the path of the reaction to reach the best results using the suitable organic reagent 2,4-dinitrophenylhydrazine, which readily couples with the drug after converting diazonium salt. Salt during its reaction with potassium periodate as an oxidative agent, oxidizing agent. Results and discussion. Study the optimal reaction conditions. The various factors affecting the absorption of the orange color product with a wavelength at 488 nanometer were studied to determine optimal conditions by changing the factors one by one and keeping the other parameters constant in order. Selection of the best base and its effect on absorption. In this study, different volumes of strong bases and weak bases, 1.5 molari, were used to find out the effect of those bases on absorbing the color product and choosing the best base. It was observed from table 1 that the maximum absorption was in a volume of 3 ml, 1.5 molary of NaOH, pH 12.9. So it was chosen in following study. The results are shown in table 1. Effect of temperature with time, effect of temperature and the time on the absorbance and stability of the colored product formed was tested using different temperatures with different time periods. It is shown from the table 2 that optimal temperature is 25 centigrade and the optimal oxidation time is oxidation time is 10 minutes. So that the absorbance volume of the orange color product is stable for 90 minutes of dilution. Therefore, room temperature was adopted for following experiments. Table 2, the results are shown in table 2, effect of temperature with time. Effect of the oxidizing agent volume. The effect of various volumes, 0.2 to 3.5 ml or 0.025 molary KiO4 solution on the formed color product was studied. Figure 1 showed that 1.75 ml of solution was sufficient from volume to give maximum absorption at a wavelength of 488 nanometer, and it was used in the following experiment. The results are shown in figure 1. Effect of the added reagent volume. The effect of different volumes of 0.2 to 3.5 ml of 0.01 molary of reagent 2,4-dinitrophenylhydrazine reagent solution on the formed color product was studied. A 2 ml of is the optimal volume of reagent solution because it gave the highest absorbance volume of the formed product. Figure 2, the result shown in figure 2. Study the effect of organic solvents on the absorbance. Several organic solvents such as methanol, ethanol, acetone, and dimethyl sulfoxide instead of water were used as a reaction medium in this study to find out their effect on absorption. The results indicate that water was a good solvent for the reaction and gave good observation. Good absorbance value at 488 nanometer, and because of its being widely available and inexpensive, it was used in the following experiments. Table 3 showing the results. Final absorption spectrum. After installing the optimal conditions such as oxidation time, temperature, volume of NaOH, reagent volume, oxidizing agent volume, and temperature, the final absorption spectrum of the orange-colored product was measured at 488 nanometer versus the blank reagent. The results are shown in the figure. Calibration curve. A standard calibration curve was constructed after determining the optimal conditions from the previously mentioned experiments. It is noticed from figure 4 illustrate that the good linearity range from 2 to 50 microgram per mil minus 1, the molar absorptivity value is 1.2503 by 10 power 4 liter mole minus 1 centimeter minus 1. And the sample sensitivity index is 3.8461 by 10 minus 2 microgram centimeter minus 2. The result shown in the curve. Precision and accuracy. For the purpose of verifying the accuracy and precision of the method, the absorbance was measured at wavelength of 488 nanometer of two different concentrations of tetracycline hydrochloride within the limits of Bayer's law. Average recovery 99.75% and relative standard deviation less 0.58% indicate that the method has highly accurate. The results shown in table 4. This stoichiometry, the stoichiometric relationship the stoichiometry relationship between tetracycline hydrochloride and 2,4-dinitrophenylhydrazine was calculated under optimal recommended conditions by application of the Jobs method. Figure 5 illustrates that the ratio of 2,4-dinitrophenylhydrazine and tetracycline hydrochloride is 1:1. The proposed reaction equation was same as shown in the following scheme 2. Applications. The present method was successfully applied using the standard addition method in the determination of tetracycline hydrochloride in tetracycline capsule. Figure 6 and table 5. The results shown in figure 6 and table 5. The results of the analysis shown in table 5 demonstrate that the standard addition method is well compatible with the percent method for determining tetracycline hydrochloride in tetracycline capsule, and present method is free from interference. The results shown in figure.
Dr.
Table
Asra?
5. Yes.
Yeah.
Table 5 shown the result of evaluating of the present method by comparing it with the standard addition method using the T and F tests, where it was found that the computed T value of 0.582 less than the tabulated T. Yes. Table 5 shows the results of evaluating the present method by comparing it with the standard additions method using the T and F tests, where it was found that the computed T value of 0.58582 less than the tabulated T value of 2.776 at the confidence level of 95% and for 4 degrees of freedom for the tetracycline hydrochloride form, and that the value of the computed F is 3.56 below their tabulated value of 6.39 at confidence level of 3.56 below their tabulated value of 6.39 at confidence level of 95% for 4 degrees of freedom for tetracycline hydrochloride form, indicating that the percent method is accurate and credible for applications. Conclusion. The analytical results obtained confirm that the present method is simple and accurate in determining tetracycline in a pharmaceutical preparation without expense reaction and successfully applied to measure tetracycline hydrochloride in pure form and solid pharmaceutical formulation. The present method is considered to have high sensitivity when compared to other methods of calorimetry. Moreover, the present method does not require temperature control, nor the use of organic solvents or solvent extraction, or the development of processing and procedures usually associated with chromatography methods. The results of this method indicate that the absorbance of the concentrations of tetracycline hydrochloride 2 to 50 microgram per mil minus 1 follows Beer's law with the molar absorptivity value and sampled sensitivity index were 1.2503 by 10 power 4 liter mol minus 1 centimeter minus 1 and 3.8461 by 10 minus 2 microgram centimeter minus 2 respectively, and an average recovery 99.75% and relative standard deviation less 0.58% indicate that the method has highly accurate. The present method is of the final product form is stable, soluble in orange color. Thank you for your listening. I'm sorry for the problem.
Thank you, Dr. Isra. I wish your next presentation will be better, and you make better preparation for your future participations at conferences. Thank you very much. Any questions for Dr. Isra about her presentation, please?
Yes, Dr. Muqtas, I can see your screen. Just minimize it.
Okay, then. No questions for Dr. Isra. Thank you very much for being here. So now it's the end of our session. Thank you very much. You're welcome. So thank you for all of you for your presentations, your valuable presentations. It has been a pleasure for me being with you all for today. I'm wishing you a very good and healthy evening everywhere you are. Thank you very much. All the best for everyone. Assalamu alaikum.